Hello and welcome to our first video. This is a lightning course on the software asset lifecycle. Today we're going to be covering the phase of identifying need. This includes understanding why and how requests for software get generated in your organization. So you might think to yourself, well, why would we need to identify our need at all? If I need software and I request it, well then I must need it, right? Well, if you have a mature SAM program, one of the facets is that you're always trying to optimize the organization's resources wherever possible. So you might have a need for software, but it's very important that money gets saved in the organization instead of just automatically spent with every single request. So it's important to understand why and how all of these software requests get generated in the first place. If I were to ask you to compare how many software requests in your organization follow a mature and controlled standard channel versus just kind of an ad hoc process, would you know? Would you even know who you could ask in your organization to find out something like that? So what software asset management should support here in the identifying need phase is a controlled gatekeeping type function. And that ensures that when you have a need, it gets supported by the proper analysis. And furthermore, any non-standard requests are subject to the appropriate scrutiny. In this way, software asset management ensures that any potentially risky, non-managed or non-controlled software requests don't get granted, and that software does not just freely enter your organization without the appropriate due diligence or audit trail. So each request for software has to be justified with the appropriate research and due diligence, like I mentioned. The business area in your organization who is responsible for requesting the software has to perform that analysis against their functional requirements, budget availability, and the strategy. And that way they're able to justify spending the money on that software. So in some cases, this could be as simple as, right, I've got an additional headcount, and I want them to have Adobe Acrobat Professional so they can perform their job duties. Some scenario like that would just be a case of looking at the operating budget, and that would easily cover that expense. In other scenarios, that could be a longer or potentially more complex justification process if it was a larger project or a larger investment on software. If the software request cannot demonstrate a justified need for spending that money in the organization, or indeed it's not accompanied by sufficient analysis, then it should be denied by the software asset management team. Then it becomes less of a financial management function and more of corporate governance function. It's recommended that you develop policies to support adherence to this behavior by the end users that also drives a culture of due diligence across the organization. So the best practice here is to develop a software catalog. And in this catalog should be your list of pre-approved items for end users to request. Every requestable item should also include a cost. And this will help to drive accountability of the business area requesting that software, since they'll see the cost impact and then they need to be able to justify that expense. The concept of the software catalog, we're going to carry that forward and we'll talk about in the submitting request phase. And that's the topic for the next video. Thanks for watching, and if you have any questions about this phase of the software asset lifecycle, or indeed any ITAM topics in general, please reach out to us and please visit our website at anglepoint.com.